This is Courtney Sanders with thinkandgrowchick.com, and today I'm going to share my money story. So, creditkarma.com, a free credit monitoring and credit report service that I've personally been using since 2011, reached out to me and the Think and Grow Chick community to see if I could share my money story and talk about how credit cards and just how I got here and how it has really impacted my life. And as you all know, if you've been following me for a while, credit cards was a huge part of my personal finance journey. Now, growing up, my parents were diligent to tell me, don't use credit cards. When you go to college, don't sign up for one. Just don't even think about it. But of course, when I got there, I ended up taking out some credit cards. Now, the reason I did that wasn't because I just wanted the free money. It was actually in a really naive attempt to try to build my credit. So what had happened was, don't you know that it's going to be bad, right, when we start a story out like that? What had happened was, no, I actually had a full ride engineering scholarship to Howard University, but once I got on campus, I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug and decided that that major was no longer the major for me. So after 2 years of running around when I should have been in class, trying to start a business, my grades tanked and I ended up losing my scholarship. Determined not to have to go back home because my parents were like, oh no, we are not taking out student loans for you, I got the bright idea that I would open up a credit card in order to build my credit so that I could get some student loans in my own name. Well, needless to say, that was a terrible idea. I was not mature enough or responsible enough to deal with the credit cards, and by the time I was like 21, I think I opened my first one when I was 19, I had 3 cards maxed out from, a bunch of different credit card companies, and I was just pretty much robbing Peter to pay Paul. And so it got to the point where I couldn't even afford to make the minimums, so I had to call the credit card companies and say like, hey, can you guys work with me, freeze my interest, do something? And they were like, yeah, we'll freeze your interest for 12 months, but you still have to make the payments. And so that really began my journey to try to get my finances together because I only had 12 months to try to pay these suckers off. And so before, where I didn't know anything about money management, I mean, I knew it in part. I had seen my mom, she'd done a really good job managing her money, but I guess all her advice went in one ear and out the other because I was not adhering to it on campus. So it was really on me. And that was the first time I took a step to try to apply those strategies that I learned from her and the new strategies that I learned from books on my own. So I went to the library because I didn't have money to buy the books and bought Susie Orman's books, Dave Ramsey's books, all these different personal finance books, and started just applying everything that I was learning so that I could quickly pay down these cards and build up a little bit of savings. One of my favorite money strategies that I learned and I use to this day is to save 10% of every bit of income that comes in. So if my grandmother, was sending me $25 in the mail as like a birthday gift or something while I was at college, best believe I was saving $2.50. So I was able to do that. I cut back on eating out. I only shopped at the grocery store instead of, at the time, Blockbuster was like the thing. Wow, I guess I'm dating myself. So instead of going to Blockbuster, I would rent movies from the local library. And I did all of those things, and over the course of 18 months, in addition to that, I would go to thrift stores and would find really nice clothes that, the well-to-do in Washington, D.C., where I had gone to school, had just, cast away. So I was collecting them and then selling them on eBay and Etsy. I was doing hair consultations. I mean, people always stopped me on the street and they were like, oh my goodness, I love your hair. How do you get it like that? So I was charging $30 to teach women how to, style their hair the way I do, style consultation. So anything that I could think of. I did food festivals. I got paid $400 one weekend to serve chili cheese fries at the DC Taste Fest. I mean, anything I could think of. I was just hustling, trying to earn enough money, trying to save enough money so I could pay these cards off. And sure enough, 12 months later, I paid off the 2 that I had to call the company and have them freeze my interest. And then 18 months later, I was able to pay that last one off. So from that point on, I got really serious about my finances because I learned that when you get into debt like that, you really mortgage your future. And it's really not fair, to tie up your future earnings into stuff that you did in the past. So things you bought that you don't even have anymore, meals you ate that you don't even remember how they taste, it really doesn't make sense to still be paying off all of those expenses with, your future earnings and your future income. And so that's something that I personally live by. Now, I do use credit cards, but I use them responsibly. I pay them off every month. At most, if I carry a balance, it's only for 1 month because I do not like paying interest. And I've just gotten really serious about getting my finances together. So that's my money story. I hope it inspires you. What's yours?